It's my last night in the 2019 Miata Grand Touring. It's been a fun week. It's been a very sideways, tail-happy week in this car. Today I've driven the BRZ, I've driven the 2017 Miata RF, both of which comparison videos are already up on the channel. And I've put about 300 really well-enjoyed miles on this 2019 Miata, and I still don't really know which one of those cars I would pick first. They're all so good, you can't go wrong. This soft top 2019 Miata is a performance powerhouse. It has it's gonna embarrass some fast cars on the track, that's for sure. It has really a lot of promise for autocross. It's a really fun street car. On winter tires, it's a little bit sketchy, but I think with some grippy rubber, this thing would be just phenomenal. The traction control keeps you in check pretty well without cutting power too abruptly. And tonight, let's test some limits in the wet. Winter tires. And to be perfectly honest, there's a lot of sliding going on, as you can see right there. This car comes the most alive in the last 1,000 RPM, between 6,500 to 7,500 or so. It really sings. Below that, I'm not really noticing that much of a power difference between the 2018 Miata with the older engine. I notice a little bit of a different sound with this motor compared to the previous generation. Personally, I don't think it sounds as good. It's a little bit drony. It's a little bit different. My mom's RF has a really nice tone to it. It kind of comes on cam, and it's got a little bit lower of an engine note. But an exhaust will quickly fix that in the aftermarket. Not really a big deal or a deal breaker. It's so good. The suspension on this is stiff, it's tight. I think you could genuinely throw some sticky rubber on this, not experience a ton of body roll, and just have an autocross hero in the dry. I can't wait to try one of these cars in the summer with some sticky rubber on it. I think it's going to be really exciting. Torque everywhere. It pulls all throughout the power band. First gear, I noticed, tops out at about 35 miles an hour. Second gear is just under 60, about 58, 59. Those extra revs really make a big difference. What else can I say about this car? Better steering feel. I don't know if it's just a placebo effect, but I have a feeling that Mazda took a little bit of journalist advice and retuned the steering rack on this. I appreciate that. I know a little bit better what's going on with the front end. The chassis always had really good communication, but now the steering is just that much more on point. You know, the more I drive the ND, the more I really fall in love with it. I can't settle the BRZ 8.6 versus Miata debate for you. I can say that this is probably the more fun car. Definitely not the more practical, but God, it's good as a driving machine. would definitely swing for the updated infotainment on these cars. This thing just loves to play. It's so much fun. Definitely not for the faint of heart. In the wet and on winter tires, it'll step out on you. I've covered so much in the last couple days on this car, there isn't really a whole lot left to say. Personally, I prefer the RF. I think it's just a little bit more of a refined, livable package. But if you're looking for a track day car or something that you can autocross and you want the lightest possible Miata, you got to go for the soft top. You're not really giving up that much in NVH. It's a little bit louder, but it's not too bad. The ability to throw the top back in a matter of like 2-3 seconds is incredible. It's really, really, really nice and easy to put back up again too. That is one real nice plus with the rack top. Other than that, I'd have the RF for looks and for just its refined character. And I think it's a little bit stiffer too. But again, if you're going for lap times, this is the way to go. No traction tonight. Not even a little bit. Really nice turning radius. Usually with every car that I test, I hit this bump right here. Doesn't even get close. That's good because when you're drifting this car, you have a lot of steering angle to work with. Easy to do second gear starts. If you listen carefully, that last 500 RPM, this car really screams. I noticed it a few months ago when I tested it at Autobahn Country Club. And that's the evocative part of this motor, is those last few hundred RPM. It's like a flat plane crank almost. It's really nice. It sings. It sounds good. Yeah. Alright, well, I think I'm going to lay down a verdict. If I had to get rid of the BRZ, I'm not gonna, and I'm not gonna trade it in for a Miata. I would probably get an ND too. I'd get a 2019 Miata. If practicality weren't an issue, if it weren't just based on driving fun and driving enjoyment, the Miata I think takes the cake. This is it's pretty dialed in now. I had some issues with the ND1. The steering feel I wasn't convinced with. I really have gotten comfortable driving this car this week, and I absolutely love the way it performs. It tickles all the fancies as a fun-to-drive car, and the fact that you can tune it and mod it and make it whatever you want it to be is a real big plus. The suspension out of the box in this form, convertible Bilstein package, is awesome. Not a lot of body roll, really stiff, really responsive. Rides a little bit firmer, but it's a Miata. You're gonna be fine. It's good. It's very good. And finally enough power to just kind of kick the tail end out at will. This is a little bit more of a, like I said in the preview, it's a little bit more of a serious sports car. Not as much of a slow car fast anymore. The Miata has definitely grown up and graduated to a new level in this latest generation. So, good job Mazda for doing all the right things with this car. It's pretty amazing that they were able to get the weight so far down and make this such a tiny package with all the safety regulations and all that stuff going on these days. So you can't really go wrong with these new cars, and honestly I think if you own one of these things, you're just going to fall in love with it more and more every day you drive it. I know everyone that I've talked to who has a Miata either loves their previous gen or wants the new one, and they're willing to trade in their old one for it. I'm not sure if it's entirely worth it. It depends on how you use it and what you do with your Miata. But yeah, this latest generation is sweet. So sweet. Okay, guys, that sums it up. That's the end of Miata week on the Topher. Hope you guys have enjoyed these series of videos. I sure have enjoyed making them, and it's been a lot of sideways action. That said, I'm not mad to go back to my BRZ this week. They are both phenomenal sports cars, and you really can't go wrong with either option. Just know that, and you'll be fine. Thanks for watching, guys. We will see you in another video with probably a more practical car this next week. I have a Lexus ES coming in tomorrow, and that'll settle down. We'll settle down a little bit. Not as much sideways action with the ES. We'll be talking about ride comfort and features and adaptive cruise control. It'll be nice. Until then, take care. See you guys.